Well, that was something. Okay. Sorry about that, everybody. How's it going? Welcome to the stream. I'm Brea Thorne. How you doing? Yeah. Always stuff to iron out. Stuff I got to work on. But we always want to always keep improving, and not be susceptible to the slow slide into suboptimal situations. But all alliteration aside, welcome to the stream. I hope you've had a wonderful weekend so far and that you have recharged for the upcoming week. I mean, we all deal with, battery anxiety with these things, but we've also got our own batteries we got to recharge. You know what I mean? If possible. But welcome, everybody. So happy that y'all are here. And we got some extra people here. As a matter of fact, Do the Drew 4 rating with a party of 6. Let's go, nerds. Welcome to the stream. Do the Drew and Drew's crew. How the heck you doing? Here, let me give a little shout out there. There you go. What were you doing? You were doing some Helldivers 2. All right, cool. Spreading democracy and whatnot. Okay. Well, welcome to the stream, Drew and Drew's chat. Thank you for trusting me with your community there. Appreciate that. And let me say hi to everybody else as well. Skeeter Gaming, welcome. How you doing? Exiled Wolf, welcome in. Alucard, how you doing? And yeah, it's been okay. Well, I still don't know if that's supposed to be offensive to anyone other than ChatGPT and its kin. I don't know. But yeah, I hope that went well. Triple B, how's it going? Bears, Beats, and Battlestars, how you doing? Now over in YouTube land, let me say hi to everybody because y'all were there, waiting for me. I appreciate that. See, Twitch chat just gets a notification. They show up. YouTube chat, they get the notification like ahead of time, and then they can go and hang out in chat. They're waiting, and they were waiting for me like 15 minutes. I appreciate that, guys. Well, some of y'all were, I'm sure. So Veto, welcome. How you doing? Chris Crawford, welcome, who had to leave and will be coming back. I think I saw that. Steve, how you doing? Welcome. Kaiser Gaming YT, thank you for the $1 super chat. I appreciate that. Let's go, nerds. Don't know what that was for. I hadn't even done anything yet. In fact, I was being rewarded for being late, I guess. But thank you very much. I appreciate that. Anyone watching Peacemaker? I have not seen any of Peacemaker, unfortunately. I need to see it. It's supposedly pretty good. But yeah, welcome, Kaiser Gaming. How you doing? And Michelle Melton, welcome as well. Thank you all for being patient. Thank you again. Alice, welcome. Glad to see you. At least you work it out off Steam. Yeah. I'm always trying to work out before I feel you. Yeah. Well, I mean, no, the thing is, if you're streaming, you're troubleshooting. It's part of the experience. It's just like, are you a real streamer if you're on time? No, that's the answer to that question. It's not a rhetorical question. I'm giving you the answer. Peter, welcome. How you doing? You're not late. You're only late if you start stream past 8:30, says Peter. I mean, yeah, that's usually, if I know I'm going to start that late, I'll usually say something in the announcements channel of the Discord. So for those who don't have that muted, which is probably some of you, you can always look there. Just finished up the DBZ Super finale. Jiren vs. Goku. Totally got goosebumps. That was awesome. As a matter of fact, I just added a little sound effect here. I don't know what I would use that for, Triple B. I'm serious. I just threw that on the Rodecaster like an hour ago. Seriously. It's the Ultra Instinct theme. So there you go. Peter, by the way, thank you for being in both chats. I always appreciate that. just so y'all know, I am streaming both on Twitch and on YouTube. Don't let just Twitch chat being here fool you. I am on YouTube as well, and though there is a little bit more delay there because of the higher bit rate, it has a higher bit rate, so a little bit better quality. You know, pick your poison, I guess. I think something surprising or haunting would be perfect for that audio. I think, you know, anytime we see that ultra awesome PC or something like that, or we find the perfect answer, I don't know. I've added a few sound effects. We'll see if they come into play. Bring down the music now that the intro's done. But yeah, I hope everybody's doing well. Man, guys, I've got some exciting stuff coming up. I got to tell you, some really exciting stuff coming up, and I cannot wait. I cannot wait to share it with you. Must have typed over half that chat. Peacemaker's Peacemaker's so good. I'll have to check it out. Absolutely. I mean, I like John Cena. I think he's a funny guy. He's a really funny guy. So, yeah. But yeah, so Drew, I know you did just finish streaming and then you rated, and I appreciate that. If you want to hang out, of course, that is awesome. But also, if you need a screen break, if you want to go grab a bite to eat, go rest and relax, that is also fine. I do that all the time, because I raid all the time. So yeah, you're totally cool to do that. But yeah, if the person I was talking to earlier this afternoon shows up, I'll talk about what might be coming up in a couple weeks. A fun stream, a very fun stream that I think you guys are going to really enjoy. But yeah, so hopefully we're getting some PC matchmaking stuff tonight. Hopefully people need help. I maintain that these Sunday, like last Sunday, there weren't as many people here because I haven't typically in earlier videos said Sunday, Tuesday, Thursday. I've always said Tuesdays and Thursdays PC matchmaking. So just adding on another day is gonna not necessarily be immediately successful. But we'll find out. We will see. It remains to be seen. Kaiser, I see you entered a form. That's very cool. Looking at Y40BA. Okay. I'm going to tell you right now, Kaiser, that I'm probably going to veto that system that you mentioned because of the Y40 part and the gaming and streaming, the streaming part of it. I'll explain then. I'll explain when we get to that. I usually spend a little while in the very beginning of the stream just yapping a bit, chatting with you guys, seeing how things are going. What's going on in general, and so we will get to doing PC matchmaking here in a bit. Do not go anywhere. I'm curious why the Y40 now. Alucard, you've heard me talk about this a million times. It's because the streaming thing, and the Y series of cases. My gripe about those. So, yeah, it's that reason. Yeah. But yeah. Wait, hold on. When did we do... Michelle, I'm very curious as to how things are progressing with your build, by the way. Like, I've been thinking about that because I've wanted to do a modern Threadripper system for like a while, ever since Streamripper failed on me. So, yeah, I'm very curious as to what the status is on that. So please, update us. No, it's just that. So I have some questions. The fact that I'm looking at that, it's 550 off right now. Yep, it's not ideal for what you're looking at, and I'll go into it. I'll give it the attention it deserves when we get started on the list. I do want to see if anybody else does jump on there, but I mean it doesn't really matter. Whenever someone gets on the list, good. It is kind of cool sometimes when the list isn't super packed with people wanting help, because then I can kind of take my time with the one or two that I might get. And as y'all have seen, I can take as long as I like with these sometimes, as long as a person is not in a hurry. Oh, so far so good. Still collecting parts, so not into the build phase yet. All good. When you're doing a DIY build, that's one of the benefits, is you can get the parts at your leisure. So yeah, I get it. It was mainly because of the build I made for my company Christmas party is in the Y40. I thought something else was happening. No, it's just the PCIe slots. I'll tell you my can you help me question when we get to it. Sure. Yeah. Observer of Thoughts, thank you for being in both chats, just like Peter. I appreciate both of y'all. Thank you very much. But yeah, so if you're wanting a free way to support what I do, even if it's just padding the numbers, and you're watching on a device that can have multiple tabs, like it's a laptop or a PC or something, so like in a browser, feel free to open up both streams and just mute the one you're not looking at, because then debatable whether it'll be registered as a full view or not. It does help a little bit. It's not exactly view botting if it's an actual person who just happens to be looking at two tabs. I don't know, whatever. Plaque 8844 says, as their first time chat, could you help me find a cheap streaming PC? I could, but you do need to fill out the form. I mean, I can try. It really depends on, because cheap to some isn't cheap to others. You know what I mean? That's why details are important, because cheap could mean $1,500, $2,000. I don't know what your budget's like or what you as an individual consider cheap. So that's what the form is for. It'll actually force you to give me the helpful information that I need to actually give you a helpful answer. Okay. That thing that I posted in chat there, you need to click that link and fill out that form, okay? Because someone else is ahead of you right now on the list. XL Wolf, thank you for being in both chats as well. I don't know if hacker skills are that good. No one's come after me yet. I better get my rollerblades ready, though. Absolutely. Hey, thank you, Kaiser, also for being in both chats. Thank you very much. Okay. So I guess we can go ahead and start looking at this already. Okay, so let me get a little zoom action going on here. So within a week and within a month, and pre-built and Micro Center. Okay, we'll see what the best option is there. Gaming, streaming, content creation, video editing. Okay, so let's talk about the downside of Y series cases. The Y40, the Y60, and the Y70 from Height. Generally speaking, fantastic cases, unique designs. I am friends with the designer of those cases, and they're well thought out. He put a lot of work into those. But one of the conceits of the Y series of cases is that you must place the GPU vertically. It mounts to the bottom of the case. There's a special slot there, and basically there's a riser cable with every case. There is a downside, though, and it especially comes into play for streaming PCs, because depending on what you're streaming, you may end up needing something like, some kind of PCIe add-in card. There are multiple kinds, and the more you get into streaming, the more likely you are to eventually need to add something like that. Now, what could those be? Well, it could be that you're wanting to stream PS5 gameplay or Switch gameplay or something like that. And external capture cards can be okay, but I personally find internal capture cards to be more reliable. Well, most of those are, okay. Most of those will fit into 99% of mid-tower cases. Okay, that remaining percentage is pretty much the Y series of cases. Because of how they have the GPU positioned, you can only put low profile add-in cards there. So like as an example, this is a PCIe add-in card. This one happens to add 7 USB ports to your build through PCIe slot, okay? PCIe lanes. It's a great card, has multiple onboard USB controllers. This one uses PCIe X4 and can provide through the USB Type-C ports up to 10 gigabit per second connection speeds, bandwidth. So these are awesome if you happen to get a motherboard that does not have enough I/O. Why does that matter for streaming PC specifically? Well, as you stream more and more, you're going to want to make streaming easier or better. The quality of your stream, you want that to go up. The ease of doing scene transitions and sound effects or vocal effects or whatever, you need control surfaces and things for that. Like a Stream Deck is the best example. I know many streamers who have multiple Stream Decks because you can't always be bothered to swap pages on your Stream Deck, and instead you just have a couple. This one's for my audio over here. It's got the knobs on it. It's a Stream Deck Plus. This one over here is just a standard 5x3 Stream Deck. That's for my scenes. Or if you're like me, maybe you want to have a Stream Deck pedal setup so that you can, with no hands, do something like this. Whoa! Right? So each one of those is another USB port that you need. There's audio interfaces, USB microphone or USB audio interface, right? Headsets. There's things like external capture cards. All of that, you need more and more USB. So either you spec out a PC with a really good motherboard that has a lot of I/O, and you hope that's enough, or you just make sure that your PC can accommodate one of these. They're like $30, $30 to $35, depending on the kind that you get. You can't put this in a Y40, a Y60, or a Y70 Touch Infinite. Okay. A capture card is something where you get something like a mirrorless camera, like this guy right here. You get the HDMI, it goes into an HDMI there, and then you have either external USB-C for that capture card, or you get a PCIe internal capture card. Most of those require a full-size PCIe slot. Okay, whereas on the height cases, the maximum size is that right there. There are a few capture cards that work with that, but you never know as you're speccing out your PC where you're going to be in a couple of years, what you're going to need. And you don't want to limit yourself in that way. So thankfully, if you like height stuff, they now have the X50, which is on pre-order. So you be able to get that. But look, I know you're saying that specific PC had a solid discount on it. You got to trust me. That's everywhere right now. Like, not everywhere, but there's plenty of price to performance oriented SI. Well, not plenty. There's iBuyPower. Mostly what I look at is iBuyPower or Skytech. And Skytech has been killing it lately with their pricing. Like, it's crazy. So, now the other thing is, if you want your pre-built from Micro Center, right? Because you're near the Denver, Colorado. Man, it's just been so many Micro Center builds. If you're wanting your PC to be built at Micro Center for you, okay, understand that there is a $250 build fee, but aside from that, you can get some pretty great deals. So let me ask you this, Kaiser. What is the actual maximum budget for your PC, not including other stuff like keyboard, mouse, monitors, speakers, whatever, and not including taxes or shipping, just what you would see on the website for the price? Bergie, what's up? Welcome. Vero says, wondering if upgrading from a PS5 to PS5 Pro is worth it. That I wonder if that's worth it to you as well. I don't think I can tell you. I feel like the PS5 Pro is better for someone who doesn't already have a PS5. But I would look at like frame rate numbers, well, I mean, I don't know. I don't know console gaming that well, honestly. The only console that I have that I stick with is Nintendo because of specific Nintendo games that are like my favorite franchises. Legend of Zelda being the main one. My question was actually going to be, I'm looking at this computer. Can you find me something better on that price? It's going for $18.99 right now. Well, I don't know what else is in it, so I'd have to look at that. Okay, so for $18.99, God, just pollute the screen. Sure, yeah, be the first to know. Shut up. Okay. So that is 7800X 3D. You did say video editing, right? Content creation / video editing. That's not the CPU for you. That's not the right CPU. You don't want a 7800X 3D regardless. Now, the 9800X 3D doesn't sacrifice other tasks as much as the 7000 series did and the 5000 series did whenever you throw 3D V cache on there. But yeah, 2 terabyte drive. 5070 Ti. That's pretty solid for that price. It really, really is. 750 watts is like the minimum I would accept for a 5070 Ti, though. Let's see. B650. At least it's not B650M. So that's something. They just don't show the back. That's, yeah. Okay. Well, I mean, we're here. Let me look at their ready systems. So, okay. I can go up to 2500 if I really want to, but at that point, I would be wanting a 5080, hopefully. I'm looking to give the Hero to my boy and get myself something better. Okay. I mean, it would be cool to do a, okay. Kaiser, thank you for the super sticker. I appreciate that. Thank you very much. You don't have to do that for me to do this for you. You know that. But it is much appreciated. Thank you. Okay, so 2500 is the absolute maximum. Got it. But at that point, you're expecting a 5080. And if it doesn't have 5080, they can kick rocks. Gotcha. I don't think... Well, I mean, I doubt... Well, I mean, you know what? I'm not going to doubt. I'm just going to look. Let's see. I like that in order to apply the filter, you have to scroll to the bottom. But just trying to scroll here, it scrolls the entire site. And it will not scroll this part until you get all the way... It doesn't even scroll this. That's really annoying, iBuyPower. Come on. Put the show results at the top, maybe? Good Lord. Oh, and now I need to filter by price high to low. Now I got to go down here. This has a 5080. Yes, it does. But it has a 14900KF. No. This has a 9070 XT, not what I would do for... Well, okay, let me ask you this, Kaiser. What is the program that you're using for video editing? Are you using Adobe Premiere Pro, DaVinci Resolve? What are we talking about here? Also, what'd you say for the color? You want it in black, not too much RGB. Okay. Yeah, I know you don't like 14,000. It's not just me, Kaiser. Every reviewer is pretty upset with how RMAs were handled, with how, I mean, there are a lot of streamers out there who are still having issues with like their streaming PCs crashing and this and that. I mean, I just like it was only a couple months ago I heard Maximilian Dude just like, this PC, this Intel, it's pretty bad. It's not just me, I promise you. But there's another thing to that, okay? If you're going to be doing video editing, you don't get an Intel CPU with an F in it, because then you're foregoing QuickSync, which is like, that's why you get Intel if you're editing video. Right now, I basically use free editors, don't do much video making. Yeah, Alucard, that's the thing. Yes, indeed. Just answer because I had to. Yes, you are forced to make a choice. So I don't have to make the choice for you. Oh, boy. Okay, so yeah, we're just at the cusp where at iBuyPower, you're looking at 5080s right at that $2,500 mark. Well, just at 2,500. Underneath that, it's 9070 XT or 5070 Ti. So we're going to go and look at Skytech. I mean, I'm seeing 5080s, yes. But I'm not super stoked about this. I mean, 9800X3D is great. And if you're not doing much in terms of video editing, bam, you're good to go. Okay? Okay. And also, I do have a discount code for this. Plus, you should be able to use a different code, like this $50 off code right here. You can get a code for $50 off by putting in your email. That should stack with my discount code, putting this under budget before taxes, and shipping is free, by the way. I'm gonna be honest. The 14900K it beats the pants off a 9800X3D for video editing, but for gaming and streaming, I'm literally using a 9800X3D. It does everything I need. And I did built it in the King 95 as well. So we're gonna look at the King 95 here. Two terabyte NVMe Gen 4, 360mm AIO, 32 gigs DDR5 6000. The 32 gigs is you should do just fine for gaming and streaming. For video editing, if you get into that later, you might not be into it now. You don't know, like, you know yourself now. You don't know you don't know future you. You know current you and past you, but you don't know future you. Future you might be all about that video editing game, right? And at that point, you can just swap out the kit for a 64 gig kit of RAM or 96, whichever you choose. But you would be taking this kit out and setting it aside, because you don't do an additive upgrade for DDR5. You only want to have 2 sticks of DDR5. That's still the meta, right? So yeah, B650. Now, we don't know what motherboard is in here, but because you have regular PCIe slots here, support for regular PCIe cards, get yourself more USB right there if the motherboard does not have enough. And again, these are a very cheap plug-and-play upgrade. So with prices not including taxes over there, can you tell what the taxes can be different from state to state, Steve? The Element Pro looks good, 2200 roughly, but depends on how much video editing is being done. What's up, Jord? Yeah, I mean, 9070 XT versus 5080. The 5080 is going to win in most circumstances. And I mean, the 9950X3D for the CPU is cool and all, but when once you like for the gaming streaming side of things, it doesn't matter. You turn on a game, it's a 9800X 3D. Now for video editing, yeah, it's going to pull ahead of that quite well. But this GPU is going to be the hindrance at that point. Because like you might look at it and say, it's a 9070 XT and they're not too into video editing. Okay, that's great. But if you're also looking at this and saying, the 9950X 3D is great if they get really into video editing, then this actually can become a bit of a letdown. Right? So, yeah. I think this is a little better balanced, and here's what you can do. Kaiser, if you, I think they even have 100 off on Rampages today. What's the what? What's up, TJ Sparks? How's it going? Welcome. What'll happen is this. If you find in a couple years, you're like, you know what? I really want to take video editing seriously. I wouldn't really want to get into it. You have socket AM5. You could throw a Zen 6 CPU in here. Like, I mean, if they do end up, as the leaks are saying, having 12 cores per CCD, 3D V-cache on both with no core parking because they've reduced chiplet to chiplet latency to like nearly zero. You could be looking at a 24-core, 48-thread CPU socketing right into this motherboard, okay? And then you upgrade your RAM, upgrade your CPU, you're good to go. Actually, what did you answer to that? Yeah, you're considering upgrading your CPU over time. Now, this is obviously not going through Micro Center, right? But it's really solid going through this. There is zero shipping fee. This ships within 4 business days. And if you do the $50 off thing and my code, well, I can't tell you how much. Well, actually, I could. I should be able to. Let's see here. Proceed to checkout. SWARM. Apply. This takes off $78 by itself. My code nearly gets this under budget, under the $2,500 budget, but also shipping is free. So that's something to consider as well. Now, with that in mind, if you provide your email address, which you're going to have to do anyway, so just might as well get yourself a $50 off code, hit apply for this, then clear this out, put in your $50 off code, and that should stack with my code, and that'll get you under budget. Package says, I didn't even realize I was on YouTube by accident. How do you go to a website? I mean, how do you watch a completely different stream? It's the same stream. Okay, whatever. Hi, Peckish. Welcome. What's up, Zintech? How you doing? They have the same one in white, same price, but it has an SE Trikes Panorama white. Really? Interesting. Let me check that. Don't know why it didn't show up for me, but let me do this. Oh, I didn't sort by price. Hold on a second. That's annoying, but okay. Bergie, are you sure this is the same build? Because I'm pretty sure that this is a downgrade to the 5070 Ti instead of the 5080 that's in this one. Because this one has a 5080 in it. Unless I'm wrong. This guy right here, 5080 versus 5070 Ti. And the price difference between the two GPUs is going into that Trikes cooler. I promise you that. It's not a cheap cooler. It's a beautiful cooler. It's awesome. And the screen is really cool. But yeah. I know I'm asking a lot right now, but can we look at what you think might be the best deal around the $1,900 mark as well? You see, guys, this is why, and of course, we're going to do it, Kaiser. But this is why I don't allow people to just change their budgets multiple times. Why I, in the forum, am specifically like, what is your maximum budget? It's because of that. But yeah, we'll look at another PC. Let's do that. Just don't say that you're cool with a certain budget if you're not. Because whatever your budget is, it should be something you're comfortable spending and investing into the PC. And that's totally fine. Let's see. You got this one here. This should come close to 1900 with my discount and maybe the $50 off. 9800 XRD, 5070 Ti. It's similar, different case, but similar, except it's a 5070 Ti. Also, I don't know what power supply is in this. What else? This one is a see, for the content creation side of things, it's getting better with Radeon. I still wouldn't do it. You do get a free monitor with this one, but I would still go with NVIDIA for what you're doing. More 9070 XTs at this price point. This one's got a 9800 X3D, 5070 Ti, 2TB Gen 4, the Azure 3 Plus. I like this case too. I like the little digital readout it's got. O11 Vision. This has a 9900 X3D, but a 9070 XT. So 9800 X3D, 5070. So we're starting to downgrade certain things, upgrade other things. It's a little bit confusing. This one's a 9900X and a 5070 Ti. Now, one thing I want to be clear about. You're gaming at 1440p. Depending on the kind of games you're going to be playing, anything with an X3D at the end is going to be limited in how much benefit you actually see from that. If you're talking about games that are known to be CPU bound, even at higher resolutions, like Call of Duty, certain real-time strategy games, RTS games, if you will, Microsoft Flight Simulator, those are all CPU. They're still going to require a solid CPU and will benefit from a higher-end X3D CPU. If you're mostly playing AAA titles, cinematic titles, things like that, then you can absolutely look at something like a 9900X as an option, though when you turn on a game, it will drop itself down to 6 active cores rather than 12. But for other tasks, those 12 cores could be a benefit to you. I just don't like it for streaming, because if you're gaming and streaming, you can do it on 6 cores, 12 threads, but it's better on 8/16. And that's what you get with a 9800 X3D. Yeah, I think... And these are all mixed. 9900X, 5070 Ti, 9800 X3D, 5070, 5070 Ti. What the heck is going on here? Yeah, I think this one was probably going to be the best option. So we had this one. That's just a sick looking PC, okay? 9800 X3D, 5070 Ti, 32 gigs DDR5, 5200. Are you sure about that, Skytech? Why do that to this system specifically? Oh, well, okay. 5200, same thing. Okay. That is definitely suboptimal for something like a 9800 X3D that is absolutely reliant upon specific specifications. Specific specifications, really? In the RAM. This is definitely something that could affect the performance of that 9800 X3D, particularly at 1080p for really high frame rate titles. Yeah. 850 watt, 80 plus gold, ATX 3.0, 2TB Gen 4, 360 AIO. Well, that's a really clean build. I just really don't like that RAM. Now, the one we were looking at before... Where did it go? I mean, I guess it's in the cart, right? Yeah. This one, DDR32 gigs DDR5 6000. Probably the same 2TB Gen 4 drive, probably something like an NV3. 2TB, 360 AIO, 850 watt gold power supply. Kind of just okay with this, you on this while I'm brainstorming. I understand that kind of messes up your stream flow. It's okay. There's only one person waiting so far, as I know. Yeah, there's only one other person waiting right now. And when it's like that, anyone who's watched the stream knows I generally will take my time. People pulled me away from buying the Height Y40, and I'm so happy they did. I went the Lian Li 011D Mini V2 right now. Might get it for Christmas if I'm lucky. Okay. Wait, is there something keeping it from, like, you ordered it and it's delayed or something? It's okay, Bergie. It's all right. Okay. I mean, look, here's the thing about these two builds. I imagine you would be upgrading the RAM sooner rather than later on either of these, regardless. To 64 gigs. I know in this system for streaming, I did upgrade from 32 gigs to 64. I just had the kit though. You know, I don't know if you'll have that lying around. But yeah, so I'd probably recommend this one for the $1,900 budget. And with my discount and the $50 off, you should get this under budget, under $1,900. If you want to go with the higher end one with the 5080, you go with this one. Now, to be clear, I've talked plenty of times about how the gaming performance and video editing performance differences between the 5070 Ti and the 5080 are not that drastic. However, for streaming, I have found myself once or twice wishing that I had gone with the 5080 in my streaming PC here. Now, why is that? Well, the 5080 doubles your encoders. You have a single, in the 5070 Ti and below in 50 series, you have a single 9th gen NVENC, or NV encoder, or NVIDIA encoder, okay? That is the dedicated hardware for encoding. Whether you're encoding a video you're editing and exporting, or whether you're encoding stream video and audio stuff all together, sending it out to Twitch or YouTube or whatever. Well, you get double that in a 5080 and a 5090. And obviously the 5090 costs twice what a 5080 does, and it does not give you twice the performance. So not really for everybody, for sure. So in this case, a 5080 could be beneficial for a streaming PC because you get dual encoders. I know I just spec'd out a PC for a streamer buddy of mine earlier today, and I ended up recommending a 5080 for that reason, because he'll sometimes be encoding multiple things at once. That can be very helpful for that kind of situation. This day, I didn't know NVENC meant NVIDIA encoder. I'm sorry. Peckish, not knowing a fact, going from not knowing a fact to knowing a fact doesn't mean you from 10 minutes ago is dumb. It's not like anybody else sussed that out on their own. We all heard it somewhere, and we're told that or read that somewhere. So instead of berating yourself for not already knowing a thing that nobody just knew by default, celebrate that you learned a thing. Sheriff, what's up? As an owner of your collab with Skytech last Christmas, the only issue I had with them was I couldn't add an extra 2 terabyte drive to the system. Well, Sheriff, the good news there is adding storage is literally the easiest thing that you can do to a PC. And while I'm not the type to say, oh, everybody could do it, because there's some people who really have an aversion to technology, just need it to work, and that is totally valid, and I understand that. Most people can add storage after watching a 10-minute YouTube video. It's like that. So, but yeah, I mean, I tried to get it to where we could have people have the option to add storage. It just was not in the cards. It was asking too much of Skytech to make that an option. So, yeah, because of the way that their site works and the way that they're high volume sellers, they're not boutique, and that's how that is. It's totally fine. It was a solid deal, regardless. Welcome back, Chris. So here's what I'm going to do. I'm going to give you both links, and you can choose the one that you like. Choose your own adventure. That's why I have 2 spaces for PCs for links in the form. Now I've added my tag to the end of that. So because I still don't know if it automatically adds my discount code, but just in case, it is SWARM. And to get a code to get the $50 off, you just have to enter your email, which when you order a piece, you're going to give them your email anyway. So it makes it worth it to get that 50. And that should stack with my discount code. So both of those links are for you there. And then the code is SWARM to get that discount off, which it's just about $80 on the higher end PC. And it's going to scale down a bit for the lower priced PC because it is a percentage. What's up, Barutu? How's it going? Are you saying hi or hee hee? Guys Gaming, thank you for yet another super chat. Thank you for the $2 super chat. Appreciate the support. Let's go, nerds. Thank you very much. I do appreciate it. As a message to everybody else, it is not necessary to gift bits or donos or super chats or anything when I help you out. Of course, I do appreciate it if you do, but it is, I have been very open about the fact that if you use a code, it doesn't just save you money, it also supports the channel, supports what I do. Which is why I'm not here like, hey, gift subs, or hey, I'll help you out. It's just a $10 dono and I'll help you out, instead of paying a couple $100 to another tech content creator to help you out with this. I just do it for $10 super chat or gift a few subs. I don't do that. Instead of it costing you money to help support what I do, I'd like you to save money, which is why we have codes with so many different SIs. So you got options. And those, of course, are all listed in the Discord. Plaque8844, I need you to do me a favor. You're still around. Yo, Chris Crawford just joined the YouTube Swarmies. Let's go, nerds. That was the wrong button. It was this button. Let's go, nerds. Thank you, Chris. Welcome to the Swarmies, or welcome back. If you already did it before, I don't know, but thank you. Plaque, do me a favor. I think I can just check it. Okay, never mind. You're here. I don't feel as adamant about having people use the emote, stuff like that, but did I see you say that you put the wrong budget? That you just meant to put 1,500? It's funny, Plaque, how you said that after I was like, by the way, guys, I don't want you changing your budgets. You need to give me your maximum budget, like it says in the form, with all the embellishment around it. And they're like, okay, I meant to put 1,500. If you thought that it would be a unique thing to put a certain budget and see if I could get you something good for that for less than your actual budget, which of course would be great, that's not that original a thought. It's the reason I have emphasized the maximum budget thing so many times, because essentially you're saying, help me once. Okay, no, help me twice. Okay, actually, what about this budget? Like, that's not what we're doing here. I appreciate that, Chris. Thank you. I appreciate that. And hey, you can use the emotes there. There you go. YouTube doesn't let me give people who are just subscribers, like, and I don't mean like Twitch subscribers. I mean, it's like Twitch followers, YouTube subscribers. It's the free thing. I can't give y'all custom emotes. I don't know why. It's super dumb, and I wish they wouldn't do that. Hey, did you hear any rumors about Steam making a couch PC running Steam Deck software? Sheriff, I mean, the thing is, they've had something like that before, a Steam Machine thing. It wouldn't be that weird for them to do that, especially now that they have refined Steam OS. We'll see. Exiled Wolf, I will hydrate. Here you go. The 11 do you mean to be too flow is a good case. I've only seen good things, but I've never worked with it, so I really can't speak to that. I've heard it's good. I know Paradox, Arpit from Paradox really likes that case. Okay, so Plaque, I know you said you meant to put 1,500, so you meant to choose the $1,000 to $1,500 budget. So range. So what is the actual solid number? What is the actual number that your budget is? You see how whenever I talk to somebody, I usually will narrow it down to a solid number, not a range. So no changing this later. What is the actual maximum amount for your budget? Not including taxes and shipping, not including keyboard, mouse, monitor, any of that stuff. Just the price you would see for the PC on the website when you're shopping. DT, as a way of greeting someone in a social situation, opted for 240mm AIO or air cooler for 9950X 3D in MATX case Li and Li A3. Well, DT, that's an odd way to say hi, but you know, I appreciate all, you know, different types of greetings. So hello to you. Welcome to the stream. I hope you're doing well. I'm assuming that was a greeting and that you're not immediately just coming in and demanding information, because that would just be a, I don't know, antisocial thing to do. Which, if you're antisocial, sure, that's a personal choice. Or, you know, some people are just socially awkward. I do get that too. Okay. So, all right, Plaque, it is your turn. You said 1,500 was a budget. Streaming, content creation / video editing. What's up, Gary? How's it going? Welcome. Give this man his $1,500 PC. I'm working on it. Don't rush me. I'm just getting started. Jordan and Vaughn, hey, how you doing? I don't really do laptops on this because I can't tell by looking at a picture on a website what the build quality is, the quality of the keyboard, the touchpad, the monitor, the screen, and all that stuff is built in. Laptop reviews, yeah, I have to be hands-on. Also, Jordan, make sure you don't include a budget so that I can just imagine that your budget is absolutely infinite. So I'm going to go ahead and say, what is it? It was an Asus like Scar something or other. And it's like $4,000. That one would probably be pretty good. There you go. Just a PSA, guys. Anytime you're asking for help on a recommendation for something, if you don't include your budget, you should expect them to assume you have infinite money. But yeah, I wish I could help more with laptops. I really do. But there are better people for that, people who review laptops very frequently. And as a matter of fact, here's a fun thing. If you've been following this, Alex and Andy who previously from LTT, left LTT, made their own channel that was like a car channel, which is super cool because Alex has always been about doing the car videos for LTT. They were a lot of fun, and he loves cars. Really cool guy, really nice guy. Both of them actually really nice guys. But they just started, they have zip tie tuning for the car side. Now they have zip tie tech or zip tie technology or whatever to review tech. So they just did a review of an Asus TUF laptop, and Alex really loved it. So check out zip tie tech. It should come up if you search that. Asus Scar 16. There you go. That's the one. DT, no problem. Honestly, I wouldn't do 240mm or an air cooler for 9950X 3D. I mean, you want to try to do a 360 if you can. And if the case that you're looking at is too small for that, that might not be the right case for that. But I do know the 9950X 3D does have, I believe it has an eco mode that runs at a lower TDP. So it could work with a 240. But I would definitely do 240 versus air cooler, especially if you're looking at a smaller amount of space inside the case, because then you're going to be limited on the air cooler as well. No problem, Jordan. I give that note very frequently. Whenever I'm looking at something, whenever I get the random like, hey, information, please. I'm like, I don't have. This is why there's a form. Because it forces you to give me the information that people just... I basically have to drag out that kind of info with question after question. This sort of fixes that. Braxton1823 coming in with a tier 3 sub for 19 months. Let's go, nerds. Thank you, Braxton, for the consistent support. Tier 3 is serious business. That's like gifting 5 subs in 1 subscription. That's crazy. I super appreciate you. Thank you very much. Also, check your whispers, by the way, your Twitch whispers. I sent you one Thursday. You do good things? Well, I appreciate it. Clearly, you do too. Okay. So streaming and content creation / video editing. So let me ask you a question. Plaque, okay? Sorry I got distracted. Happens. Let me ask you a question, Plaque. Is this a second PC? Like you already have a gaming PC, or you're going to be streaming console? Like, what's the situation? What's your setup here? DT, no problem. That's like 2 Starbucks copies. That's true. River 2. It was a bit sad finding out about Alex and Andy leaving the company. I'm sure they'll do fine with their channels due to their time at LTT for sure. Yeah, Alucard, I mean, Zip Tie Tuning is already at like 300k subs or something. Yeah, they're doing pretty good. But Jake also left the channel and started his own. And that was a shock too. Thankfully, with the fact that Andy and Alex started their tech channel, and Jake's channel that he's had for a while actually, but his is also tech. I was a bit relieved because I was like, man, am I never going to see them at CES or Computex ever again? Like, that would make me sad. I've been running into them consistently at those events, and I would be sad to not do that anymore. But apparently, yeah. No, I play on console and I want to stream. Okay, cool. All right. Now, what about the video editing side? What kind of editing are we talking about? Are we talking about just doing like CapCut, TikTok stuff? Or are you trying to do 4K long-form content for a YouTube channel? How serious is the video editing side? And if it's serious, what software are you planning on using? Is it Adobe Premiere Pro, DaVinci Resolve? I know this is a lot of questions, but I need to see how heavily we need to lean into the video editing thing, because with a budget of $1,500, that's a solid budget if you're doing a 1440p gaming machine or just a streaming machine. But adding in the video editing side changes things. So bro, TechSource used the 9950X3D with a low profile air cooler and it peaked at like 85C. Interesting. I'd need to see if he did anything, because he might have run it in eco mode. I don't know. That's what I would do, and it might run okay at that point, because it's like 65 watts or maybe 105. YouTube channel. Okay. So, what kind of software are you thinking about? Going the Adobe route to do Premiere Pro? Are you thinking about going DaVinci Resolve? What are we talking about for the software that you want to use for video editing? Have you considered that yet, or am I asking this way too early for you? Yeah, Peckish, that's what I'm saying. You can change the mode on that like Alucard's saying. I feel like Ed would have gone in, he would have known to do eco mode. If you're going to do a low profile cooler for basically the most powerful AMD CPU on the market in terms of standard consumer desktop CPUs. God, I'm calling tomorrow. Got a text from him. Awesome, Braxton. Happy to hear that. Who knows? I don't trust Tech Source. Ed's fine. Ed's, you know, he's been in the game for a long time. That's why I think he would have known the settings to make that work. Adobe. Okay. All right. So this one's a little tough, but I think this means we need to go with, okay. So I know it's funny because the form has already a bunch of questions, but depending on the choices made, there's times where I have to ask a bunch more questions to make sure that I start off my approach correctly. So let's say, Plaque, that I'm going to go to the Indianapolis Micro Center on the website and do a build in the builder there. In order for them to put it together for you, it's a same-day build service. That's expensive. Meaning if in the morning or early afternoon you put in your order, they'll have it ready for you by closing or before that. That's a hell of a service, but it costs you like $250. It's a $250 build fee. So my question to you is, would that be coming out of the $1,500? Because that's a big chunk out of that budget. That's the only one. Yo, WX fan, what's going on? Welcome. How you doing? Guess who I had how long was the call? Guess who I had a call with for 2 hours earlier? I was on a call with Emmett for 2 hours earlier. No, Emmett. Rutu, no. But no, we're planning out something for him. I'm not doing boxing. No. No, that wouldn't come out of that budget. So it's separate from the budget. Okay. So we can try to do this. Yeah. Because I'm going up for okay. I might be doing a because Emmett he did a subathon, and one of the goals was to upgrade his PC. So might be helping with that. On location. I mean, I'm going to be in California for TwitchCon anyway. Might as well take that $50 flight up to San Francisco. So that was what I was hinting at before, chat. We'll see if that works out. I'm certainly hoping so, because that would be a lot of fun. It's like, it's fun because someone else pays for the PC parts and then I get to do the build. Hey, it's awesome. Getting a good new case for Christmas, might be having to rebuild my whole PC and build one for my brother. Considering I've only built 3 PCs before, it might be a long, painful process. But it's still, you know, you got to enjoy that though. How often do you get to build PCs? And there you would get to do 2 of them. Yeah, Atkins, Bertha and Plaque is my son. He hasn't started any content creation yet, so beginner build is what he is looking for. Unfortunately, I can't help him, so I sent him your way. But Jeff, I'm happy to help. And with the build fee for Micro Center being separate from the budget, I think we can put something good together. Now, I'm going to try to see if I can put a solid CPU in this because my PC that I just built for video editing is using a CPU that is not $550, $680. No, it's about $270. But it's one of the best video editing CPUs on the market right now, and price to performance, it's crazy. So I'm going to try to do a build with the 265K, and I'm going to see what we can do. I'm going to try to make this min-maxed like crazy. And also, it doesn't have to have a crazy GPU because it's just for, I mean, the GPU VRAM is important. Yeah, we'll try to get good VRAM in there. But, you know, It needs to be able to do the video editing thing, yes, and the streaming thing. Good encoder on there. I'm going to give this a shot. We're going to put something together that's, although the CPU won't be very upgradable, it won't need to be. It's already near the top of the charts. But the rest of the PC will be very upgradable. So let's go on over to Micro Center now. I got to verify though. Just got to verify that Emmett saved his build real quick. Peckish, if the motherboard has a separate I/O shield that you have to put in yourself, there may be blood involved. Be careful; those are sharper than they seem. But WX fan, what's going on with you? When is the thing you need to broadcast? Like the thing that you were saying was coming up soon. I hope it hadn't passed because I want to tune into that whenever that is. There isn't? I thought there was something that you said you were going to be. I could be wrong, of course. I've been known for that now and then. Okay, well, anyways. The marathon for charity. Okay, could be that. Sure. Wait, what was the store again? It was Indianapolis. Got it. Let's get this going. Am I crazy? What am I doing? There we go. Okay. All right. Let's look for a 265K bundle, see what we get. $429. 32 gigs of RAM. What did we say for the color of the build? In black. Well, it might have a white motherboard, just a heads up. But looking at these, that is $20 more. Same motherboard, though. What's the difference here? Oh, that's a KF. We ain't doing that. You're not doing a KF. Okay. Okay. It's not bad for having CPU, motherboard, and RAM all covered there. Hey, relax, buddy. Go away. That was last weekend. I'm sorry about that. I'm not sorry. I'm not sorry that it happened. I'm happy. I hope it went well, but I meant to tune in because you're telling me about it. Yeah, on both PCs, I physically built them both. Had those I/O plates, but I only built on the first one, surprisingly. Well, okay, that's not a bad track record so far. Black or white, I don't really care. Okay, sure. Yeah. All right. All good. Appreciate you asking. Yeah, of course. We raised this over 1.5K. Oh, hell yeah. 1.8. Nice. Love to hear it. It's awesome. I think for anyone who watches a lot of GDQ, you can get desensitized by numbers, but that's significant. That is significant. That is awesome. GDQ is just on another level from anything, right? It's insane. I mean, just the Save the Animals versus Save the Frames is just like an absolute monster. Let's try 5060 Ti 16 gig for now. If we can upgrade that, we will, but 5060 Ti 16 gig. What was the resolution? We're talking about 1440p, 5060 Ti 16 gig. Can do that. Okay. 8 gig, 8 gig, 8 gig, 16 gig. Lowest price 16 gig one is $429. So yeah. Now, I just want to show you real quick why I am so hype on this CPU, okay? Now, Premiere Pro, Adobe was mentioned as the platform that's going to be used for video editing. Of course, if you do video editing for YouTube and stuff, you're also going to end up doing Photoshop for thumbnails, all that kind of stuff. And Adobe kind of has all of that together. If you're a student or something, it can be also free. So why not use it, right? But that's why they do it, so that you get locked into Adobe, you learn it. And then when you're freelance or a professional, you're in the ecosystem and they're going to have you pretty much forever. But whatever. That's why Apple put a lot of PCs in schools and colleges for like a long time. But looking at Premiere Pro, okay, we're going to look at the top 3 CPUs. And we're going to make a little comparison, okay? Now, the number 1 is the Core Ultra 9 285K. Now, that's a pretty solid jump over that 9950X3D from AMD, right? This is just the top of the heap. Now, if we were to look at that CPU, that thing runs $520. Now, the 9950X3D is in second place, but look at what's right under it. The Core Ultra 7 265K. And the scores are almost indistinguishable, to the point where I'm saying they tie for second place. It's really negligible. The difference here is very minor. It's a 5-digit score, and it's a 2-digit difference. You know what I mean? This CPU is $650. Give or take $20, depending on sales. Well, the 265K, that is tied for second place as the top Premiere Pro consumer desktop CPU on the market. And you're getting it for $213.58. If that's not price to performance, no, it is actually. It is price to performance. That's what that fit. I don't know what would be if that isn't it. Okay, that is an insane deal for like bumping up against a $650 CPU. Insane. That's why I've been recommending this thing left and right. Now, something to consider. Okay, there is something important to consider. In order to get the most value for video editing out of $1,500, I feel like we need to do this. Now, where is there an issue? Well, the fact that you selected yes for the question, do you plan on upgrading your CPU over time? That is going to be limited on this platform, and that's because of Intel. For the longest time, Intel has limited CPU upgrades to 2 generations per socket, right? So socket LGA 1700, you had 12th gen and 13th gen. 14th gen was just a refresh of 13th gen. So really, it's 2 generations of CPUs, okay? And it was the same before that and before that. For this generation, for LGA 1851, they're basically doing 1 main generation and then an upcoming refresh. That's pretty unfortunate. But the rest of the PC remains fully upgradable in terms of adding storage, upgrading the GPU. I'm probably going to put a slightly beefier power supply in there for future GPU upgrades to be possible without having to swap the power supply, okay? Swapping out the RAM for a higher capacity kit for more intense video editing, okay? But the CPU is already an absolute monster for video editing, okay? I'm talking about beating out the 9950X easily, okay? So it's really solid. The reason I'm going over all that is because of the choice here of, yes, I want to upgrade the CPU over time. You'll be able to upgrade everything else. And yeah, there will be a refresh of these to where you can go for like the Core Ultra 9 for the refresh in a year or two. I would give it a couple of years to let the price on that drop while they're still on the market. There you go. But anyways, it's absolutely solid. Actually, what I want to take a look at is, no, not that. Let me see. I want to take a look at the motherboard real quick. Okay, so it looks like there's 4 M.2 slots here. So that's solid for a video editing machine. The I/O, though, is not good for a streaming PC. That would be a problem, except that, as I talk about all the time, okay, this is something that you would need to do, all right? But what you'd want to do is add in one of these, okay? I talk about these all the time because motherboard manufacturers, particularly Asus, is bad about this. They're really bad about adding enough USB ports. For a streaming PC, it's kind of important so you can connect your mouse and keyboard, but also your Stream Deck, your audio interface, all your stuff, okay? But this is a PCIe add-in card that adds a bunch of USB ports. These are like 30 to 40 bucks, depending on the kind you get, and they're plug and play. You plug it in, you put in one screw to keep it in there, and it's just, you turn on the PC and it works. So that's why I am trying to leverage the package deal to get the most out of the, to min-max this PC. Now, going back to the package deals, which we can do, we can look at them and see that, yeah, there's slightly more expensive ones that have better motherboards. Well, actually, no, there's nothing. Oh, hold on. I just got to do this. Lowest price and CPU brand support is already selected to Intel. Okay, 265K. So there are some here that are, like there's this one here that is $50 more. And the motherboard, probably considerably better. We can take a look at that. But that's the KF. This is the one. It's actually $70 more, or $70 or $80 more. Let's take a quick look at that motherboard just to compare, okay? Now, yeah, I know I get really into this stuff, and maybe sometimes it's a little too much info, but understand, I'm digging into this stuff so you don't have to. Because these are the kind of things that are a reality when it comes to building a PC that is upgradable in the future. You want to know what it's capable of. And also just connecting things. The motherboard is the backbone of your PC. It connects everything together. And we want to make sure it's able to do that well. So if we go to this one, now, Gigabyte is usually pretty good about I/O. And this lineup is fairly decent. You compare this is actually quite a bit better. But let's talk about exactly what you get from that. Okay, so here we have 7 USB Type-A ports. Neat. That's fine. But 4 of them are USB 2.0. Now, having 2 of those, or having 4 of them even, is fine because you'll have stuff like your mouse, your keyboard, maybe a USB headset, right? That doesn't require high bandwidth. So USB 2.0 is fine for that. Even if it's a high polling rate mouse or whatever. But it only has 3 faster USB Type-A ports. And Type-A means the rectangular type of USB ports. And then you have a 20 gigabit per second USB Type-C. Let's keep all that in mind, okay? We'll compare the rest of it here in a minute. Going here, you have the same 4 USB Type-A, USB 2.0 ports. So for your mouse, keyboard, headset, whatever, there you go. Stream Deck only requires USB 2.0. But then instead of just like 3 of these, USB 3.2 Gen 2, you actually have 2 of these, 4 USB 3.0s, and a Thunderbolt 4 port. What the heck does that mean? Thunderbolt 4 is 40 gigabit per second, not 20. And also Thunderbolt devices are kind of crazy. They are daisy chainable. You can get a Thunderbolt hub, plug a bunch of stuff into it. It's very high bandwidth. It's very cool. This also has Wi-Fi 7 with an easy connect right here. They both have 2.5 gig Ethernet, but yeah, that's your comparison there. I'm going to take a look at the specs real quick on PCIe and see if anything makes me mad. And nope, this is pretty good. You have a PCI, you have your X16, your primary slot for the graphics card, right? Then you have one that is X4. That means there are 4 PCIe lanes running to it. And that's great for an internal capture card that you might need for your PlayStation. Okay? You can get an external capture card, yes. But to me, internal ones are generally a little bit more reliable. Okay? And the good ones require 4 lanes with PCIe Gen 2 usually, but you need the 4 lanes. Like this is higher spec than that, but 4 lanes. And then there's one with X1 slots, with 1 lane of PCIe. And you can get one of these that does X1 and it works perfectly with it and you're good to go. Okay? So I think this is probably worth the extra $80 for the better connectivity. All of that stuff I said was just to say you spend a little more on your motherboard and you probably won't regret it. So we're selecting that. I'm on Xbox. Okay, sure. Then to connect your Xbox. Either way, you need a place where you can put HDMI into that can get high frame rates, so you have no latency for the pass-through, because what happens is, all right, let's talk about how capture cards run, okay? Instead of plugging your Xbox directly into a TV or gaming monitor, you would plug the HDMI into a capture card where it says HDMI in. Next to that, it'll say HDMI out. That goes to your TV or your gaming monitor, okay? And a good capture card is going to give you almost no latency in that pass-through. As the signal goes through the capture card, the PC captures it. That's why it's called a capture card. And then you can put it in OBS. You can record it, do whatever you want. That's how capture cards work. Thank you for coming to my TED Talk. And actually, Micro Center carries capture cards. They might have the one that I'm going to recommend. But so far we're at $959. We still need a CPU cooler, storage, a case, and a power supply. So I might not be able, while I can recommend a good capture card to you, it may not fit in the budget right away. Let's give you a 2 terabyte boot drive. Okay. I'm going to say Inland Performance Plus. They do have the 2 terabyte. It is $135. I'm not recommending a single terabyte for this, but 2 instead. We can bring that down to a 1 terabyte drive if we need to. My minimum these days is to go with 2 terabytes, honestly, but we do what we can. 1 terabyte will get you there for a while, especially if you're not doing a lot of video editing at the beginning. You're mostly streaming, but yeah. Case, we can go with a white case. If you said you're fine with white, I think you said black or white. You don't care. Opeth Fan, what's going on? Opeth Fan 79. Quick question. Have you ever reviewed WL Mouse? I have not. But yeah, so we have a black colorway for the GPU, but the motherboard is white. The case can be white or black. It's going to be a mix either way. The price is the same between the Montec XR in black or white. It's $70 with 3 fans included, which is nice. You put a cooler in there, you're good to go. But what I'm going to do is I'm going to pick the white one, and you can just choose whatever color you want when you go to Micro Center. And I suggest that. I suggest don't lock in to this case. Go to Micro Center and look at the cases there. See which one you like, because they have them all on display on shelves. It's really, really cool. That's something that you can really only get from Micro Center. PSU. It's going to be overkill, but I'm going to say 850 will be great for this for future upgradability. That is way overkill for a 5060 Ti 16 gig. But the whole focus here is that you want to have it be upgradable without having to do a lot of extra stuff like swapping a power supply. Not bad. B minus, yeah, for this level of build is just about right. Okay. Superflower Combat FG, ATX 3.1 compatible. Let's see, compatible though. And it's 120? I don't know if that's actually worth it. Now, this is going to have no 12V 2x6 native. It probably comes with the cable adapter. Not ideal, honestly. And at 120, it's not that great of a deal. Sonic Core. You got to remember, just looking at a brand and seeing Sonic, wow, it doesn't mean it's going to be scoring very well here. And yeah, the GX scores a C+. Not super great. But the A850GL A-GL. $850 is B rated. B rated. Okay, I'll take it. Same price, but let me look at the connectors real quick. Sorry, again, I obsess over this stuff, so you don't have to. Don't you worry, we'll be done soon. So this does have included 12V 2x6. Do you need it? No, you're going to have an 8-pin PCIe connection there. And you got 3 of those on board here, so good. You have it for your CPU and for your GPU as well. I think this is a solid option for sure. Yeah, so that's 24-pin, 24-pin, and then CPU PCIe. There's actually 4 of those, so that's cool. And 12V 2x6, which is nice. Okay, yeah, this is the one. Oh, but there's cheaper power supplies. Yeah. That's the heart of your system. It is the beating heart of your system. You do not cheap out on the power supply. Going with a Montech case, grab a Montech cooler. If they got it. They do. Yo, they got temp readout ones now. That's cool. But what did we say about RGB? Yes, but not too much. Well, the case itself doesn't have much integrated RGB. It has a few RGB fans, and so will your cooler. Because the price is good. It's got a solid price on this. For $360, it's not bad. I mean, it's $90 for the non-RGB version. Okay. Plaque, I'm going to let you choose this as well on site because they have them both in stock. You have 2 Montech coolers, and of course, it's a Montech case that already comes with Montech fans. So going with the Montech cooler, not a bad idea. I'm recommending 360 millimeter, all right? You're talking about a 20-core CPU. It is no slouch. It doesn't run super hot, but extra cooling, never a bad thing. And it's a price difference from $90 with no RGB to $120 with RGB. I'm going to recommend the RGB one, but that means if you go non-RGB, it's just going to bring the overall price down. And you get to choose that while you're there. RGB, all right, sure, there you go. Okay. I mean, that's the whole build coming in at $14.04.94. Yeah, we min-maxed the heck out of this thing, and we got you a really solid motherboard, which, again, for a streaming PC, it's impossible to overstate the importance of that. As coming from someone who has been streaming for years. Trust me on that. Now, you will need an operating system, okay? So here's my recommendation to you. You're going to have Micro Center build this for you. You want to ask them to install Windows for you, Windows 11, but don't activate it. It can be Windows 11 Home or Pro. I would generally recommend Home for most people. If you know the difference, if you know the difference between the two, you also know whether you need it or not. If you don't know the difference, you're probably fine with Home. That's what I'm saying. And that's okay. So you ask them to install Windows 11 Home, but do not activate it. They will do that part for free. And then you can just get a license for Windows 11 Home from my YouTube sponsor, VIP CDK Deals. It's like $22 after my discount code. I don't get a kickback from those. They do sometimes sponsor my YouTube content, and I have a code with them. That's it. But yeah, that's the build. Wait, who's leaving? What happened? Who's leaving? All right. Steve, have a good one. Thanks for hanging out. Okay, so that's done. Let me give you the link to the build. Oh, here's an idea. And you don't need to get this right now, obviously. But if you're trying to capture your Xbox and make sure that you can take, you know, if I don't know the level of what Xboxes are at now, whether they have variable refresh rate, 4K, yada, yada, whatever. But I'm going to recommend a capture card to you. You don't get this right away necessarily. But this is the AverMedia Live Gamer 4K 2.1. I had so many capture card issues for so long. This fixed all of them. And it's $199, so I'm going to add it on there, but don't get it yet until it's within range, or maybe add it on later on. But because it makes it 1604, right? But I just wanted to give you a note of what capture card I would recommend. Zelmov, what's up? Thank you for the lurk. So let me go ahead and give you the link to the build. Now, here's what I need you to do, okay? I'm going to give you this link right here. I need you to open that link and go in and save that build. Because if I do another Micro Center build, this one's getting erased. It's going to prompt you to create a Micro Center account or log in if you've already got one. So keep that in mind. And here is your link. Gotta love driver problems when trying to install Windows on a new build. Yeah, that's not ideal. But it happens. Now, oh, Jeff Adkins, I'm sorry, earlier I missed your question. You asked will that CPU be fine for gaming as well if he decides to steer away from console? Yes. The 265K is perfectly fine for gaming, particularly at 1440p or higher resolution, where the CPU is less important and the GPU becomes more important. Can you add the... Yeah. Capture card is added. It is in there. And let me go and get you a link for an OEM Windows license. Real quick. Now, here's the thing. If you ask them to install Windows 11 Home and not activate it, you want to get an OEM license for Windows 11 Home, not Pro, or else it will not work. Okay, Jeff, here is the link for the operating system, and the code to get it down to like $22 is Bray25. There you go. Oh, Alucard built yours for you. Awesome. Yeah, I love to hear about techies in the Discord helping people out, because they get all the credit for keeping the Discord working. I haven't been able to do that stuff myself for quite a long time, and I owe Alucard and the rest of the techie team quite a bit. I hope they get the appreciation they deserve amongst the Discord community, because it's all volunteer. It's all volunteer stuff. Yes, all of you are great people for us folks who don't know anything about technology, except that it is fun. Well, I'll tell you, Jeff. I know that it's, y'all are foregoing the option to like, oh, you can build it yourself. The majority of people do that. Majority of people get a PC either built for them or buy something pre-built in general, which to my mind, in the way I define it, anything that the end customer did not build themselves is pre-built, right? It is the gateway to so many things, whether it's just different uses for the PC, like video editing, maybe creating 3D assets in Blender, which is free software, different things like that, or whether it's PC DIY. You have a PC that is tested, that is guaranteed with all the parts are compatible and everything. And making upgrades to that can be very gratifying and potentially be that gateway to a whole new hobby. It's just really cool. I just want to make sure that our techies in the Discords, the unsung heroes of the swarm, get the recognition they deserve. These are people giving their time that have jobs, that have stuff they do, but they help people out every day. And I oftentimes will be sitting thinking how like I don't know how to show my gratitude effectively enough, or how to express it effectively enough. Been using PC since 1997. I did not build my own until 2011. Rutu, that's the thing, is as time went on, it became easier and easier to do in terms of getting access to components. And as it became more mainstream and there was more and more content out there once YouTube was a thing, and you didn't have to dig through forums and articles to figure out how to do it, it became better. It became a lot more accessible. Chris, thank you very much. And yeah, absolutely. But Plaque, I wish you the best in your endeavors. As someone who has edited a lot of videos over a long period of time, I hope that you find joy in editing, because we need more people who really genuinely enjoy it. It is art. Make no mistake, it is art. Video editing is art. It's also a great way to make funds on the side, because freelance editors can do pretty well. Freelance video editors can do really well. Michelle, thank you. And I'm glad you found it as well. I will say, I am very happy to say, I'm very happy to say, yeah, I am very happy to report that as compared to, don't stop following. Come on, this is consider. Look, we're in a Pokemon battle, and I'm using follow me. Okay, all right, camera, you good? Okay. I'm happy to say that compared to last Sunday, which was the first experiment of doing PC matchmaking on a Sunday instead of a gaming stream, I'm very happy to say that the viewership here is much more than it was then, and I guess more people are aware that I'm doing these now 3 times a week. If people don't show up to get help, I will switch over to gaming, to be clear, but I wanted to get more coverage if possible. Skeeter, have a good night. Thank you for coming and hanging out. I appreciate you. Bone Shock, what's up? Hey, sorry, I'm on a cruise ship. How are you on the internet? I know the last time I went on a cruise, they were like, you're not going to have internet for like 6 days. The last time I was on a cruise, the only time I was on a cruise, it was like 6 or 7 days of just no internet. I was going insane. Well, now Starlink is a thing. Yes, it was not when I went on a cruise like 12 years ago. But Opeth fan, can you tell me more about what you asked me about? You asked if I have ever reviewed WL Mouse. Yo, Skeeter, thank you for the 100 biddies. Let's go, nerds. Thank you, Skeeter. "12 years ago? Did they have ships back then?" Yes. I'm glad you asked. Oh, it's just a brand of mice. Okay. Opeth, I don't really review peripherals very often. Ultralight magnesium alloy. Ooh, okay. Hang on. That's sick. Really? I hate this. I hate this so much. I can't do anything other than either closing this or giving my personal info. Look, don't show this pop up again. That's what Skytech needs. Skytech, take notes. Put a thing. Don't show this pop-up again. Y'all know how many times I got to close out of the $50 off pop-up? Fun fact, I don't actually like super light mice. But these are really cool looking. I see an acceptable amount of purple objects, so that's good. Adrian, what's up? Appreciate your Braithorn. Love dropping in and watching you help peeps. Just telling some friends about the channel today. Well, thank you for telling your friends about the channel. I appreciate that. I hope that they need help and that I can help them. That's not the link I wanted to put there. You know, I should just have this somewhere so I don't need to go looking for that. Put that. No. Well, okay. I guess I'll get that later. I need this. Not that the link is going to work for me or anything, but whatever. I still do it. Don't know why. I'm a little behind the stream, I think, but was he talking about way back when the Titanic sailed? I, too, was around back then. Yes, I sailed on the Titanic and died. Just a heads up, I am a ghost, by the way. Super strange with trying to install Windows on the new build I built earlier this week. The purple and green really stands out. Those are not linked. Okay, I got it. I got it now. That took me a second. Yeah, this is pretty sick. I like that. I wonder what Nacho Customs would think about this. Nacho is super cool, by the way. I don't know if you follow Nacho Customs on Twitter or Instagram. Just does custom art on peripherals and is the GOAT. This is new. Let's see it. DRG. This is the Max. I'm sorry, Mini X and Max Magnesium Alloy Gaming Mice. No purple. Pass. Passing on that. Okay, that looks cool. And I like this colorway. That's pretty nice. Also, the silver is just dope. I like the embellishments. It's cool. Mazur Guru, am I saying that correctly? You're just doing pre-built PCs? Nope. I also do parts list for DIY builds as well. The way it works is since you're in the YouTube stream, the way it works for you is you can take a look at the description. There's the first link right there. Takes you to the form. You fill out the form, answer the questions, and you'll see in there it asks, do you want a pre-built or do you want a parts list for a DIY build, or are you trying to do an upgrade? So there's different things like that. Ask what you're going to use it for, what your budget is, all the sort of things that make you provide the information that you should whenever you're asking for help on that kind of thing. It's been 84 years. Settle this. What's up? You have to talk to Jeff about their mice choices. I mean, maybe these are pretty expensive. So, forged carbon fiber. That's bananas. That's really cool. Okay, like that's legit cool. But like, okay, I've done blacksmithing and knife making and forging stuff, right? So forged carbon fiber, I'm probably imagining incorrectly how this is made. What do they mean forged carbon fiber? I don't know what they could possibly mean by that. Like what the process would be like. Hey, yo, look at this. That's pretty sick. A little bit busy, right? But Damn. All right. Okay. Spiffy. Very spiffy. I like this design. That's pretty cool. That's also nice too. Just a touch of color there. I don't really care for light ones either. Yeah. And it's all the rage, you know. Excellent. I just finished my build a few weeks ago. Love this stuff. I always do my own. That's cool. And that is an awesome hobby. Here's the fun part. Now, is it Mazer Guru? I don't know if I'm saying that right. But Maze? I don't know. Welcome to the stream. So here's the fun thing. In doing the YouTube channel over the years, I've met and interviewed a lot of my heroes in PC-centric content. Jay's 2 Cents, Paul's Hardware, a bunch of those guys, right? And I made a point of when I would get to interview them and have that privilege of interviewing them, I'd be like, did you start with a pre-built before getting into DIY? And to a person, I think maybe one of them said, no, I had someone there who helped me do my first build. Everybody else was like, yeah, I started on like the family computer. Pre-builts are the gateway to DIY for those who want to pursue that. Of course, it's a PC, and like 70 to 75% of PC hardware per year, sold per year, goes to pre-builts. The majority of people are buying pre-builts. And if a solid enough number of those people go from just buying that pre-built to, oh, I'm going to add some storage, or you know what, 32 gigs of RAM isn't enough, I need to swap it out for a 64 gig kit, or you know what, I'm going to swap out this power supply so that I can swap out my GPU for something more powerful. And then eventually it's like, I think I'm ready to build a whole PC. And that's where so many people start out. The sad thing is a lot of those people forget that and then go onto the PCMR subreddit and shame people who buy pre-builts, who are wanting to get the same exact start they did. Isn't that crazy? Like, the fact that most people buy pre-builts and 90% of YouTube content is DIY is crazy to me. Like, what is the problem? Like, what is what's keeping people from covering such a critical industry? You know what I mean? Maze is good. Awesome. I do need a mouse. I hate the one I just got. The battery life is terrible. So I'm stuck with this mouse now for a very specific reason. I'm not a Corsair fanboy in any way. Matter of fact, I prefer Logitech MX Master line of mice for content creation, tasks, stuff like that. It's because with this thing, as a streamer, I mean, that's a Stream Deck right there. This specific mouse, the Scimitar SE wireless, you can connect through a plugin for through an IQ plugin into Elgato's Stream Deck software, and this is now a Stream Deck. It's freaking cool, but I did not want to install IQ on my machine. That's the only reason that software is on my machine, is for this freaking thing. Will, welcome. How's it going? Hello, Thorn. I just ordered the PC. Now, what backup power battery brand do you recommend? Just in case there's a blackout. Last thing I want to do is mess up my PC. Well, you said something else here. Hello, Torn. I just ordered. Okay. You don't have to repeat yourself, Will. You know I eventually get to every chat. So don't do that. But I don't really review uninterruptible power supplies or UPSs or battery backups. There are various brands out there. APC is a good one. CyberPower is a good one. It's not like the PC company. You just need to make sure that the wattage rating, okay, not like 1500 VA or whatever, but the wattage rating is at or higher than the wattage rating of your power supply, okay? That's it. I'm quite old, 60 now. Started with pre-built back in the 90s. I started on a Gateway PC. My Gateway was a Gateway PC. Although my very first one, to be fair, was a Tandy 1000 back in the 80s when I was like a kid. When I was 6 years old or whatever. But I never messed with that one. I mean, probably for the best, honestly. Green makes a good one on backup power. They make a battery backup? Interesting. What's up, Develop? How's it going? But yeah, I will say this, Will. Also, Jeff, I'm happy to have helped out, by the way. Will, whenever you're trying to get my attention, actually typing out my name in full will highlight that chat. It makes my name in bright orange right there. Or it has an orange background right there so that it helps me see. Typing part of my name and also misspelling that. Misspelling the name Braethorn has become a meme at this point, and I'm fine with it. It's been like that for a long time. But if you're trying to get me to see your chat, typing out the full name does help in the YouTube side of things and on the Twitch side of things. Astral, what's going on? EcoFlow is good. Hi, Braethorn. Okay, what's up? Hi, EcoFlow. All right. EcoFlow. Isn't that more of a power station thing? Yeah, that's like a power station. It's not necessarily like a your typical battery backup. And they also start at like $900. So as far as I can see here. So yeah, I don't know if I would recommend that where you can get one that's going to be 1500 VA, 1000 watts for like $250, $300 probably. Something like that. Also, like a heavier mouse was using an MX Master. Yeah. It's funny because I had to replace my MX Master 3S because the left click was just, I mean, that's the one you use most. It died. So I bought it 2 months ago, and then they came out with the MX Master 4 like a week ago. Yay. Hooray. Will, no problem. Don't worry about it. I'm just giving you notes on how to get my attention in the future. That's all. Are you done with the people on your list? Kaiser Gaming? YT, indeed I am, as it seems. I have completed the list. Zintek, if you got to leave, you don't have to apologize. Like, don't worry about that. I don't know what feeling I get when people are like, oh, I'm here. Sorry, I was late. You're not. You're here, and I'm happy that you're here. You're here when you get to be here. Like, I am lucky to have you guys hanging out with me while I yell about the ones and the zeros and the beeps and the boops and the GPUs and the CPUs and NVIDIA with the IOUs or we owe thems, whatever. Like that. How freaking cool is that? Like, for me. So y'all never have anything to apologize for when you're not here when I go live. I make it so like irregular when I actually go live, but I mean, not incredibly so, by like 15 minutes or so usually. Like, why would you schedule stuff? Like, you're here when you're here, and I'm happy about that. That's all I gotta say. Richard, thank you. All right. Richard, present. Okay. And even for those who don't speak up and say, hey, I'm here, the lurkers, the silent supporters, thank you. I'm not threatening to punch you, by the way. I'm just saying, yes, I'm happy you're here. Alucard, thank you for the lurk. Using troubleshooting. This just became a podcast for Alucard. There you go. It's just it's a one-man show podcast. Check it out on iTunes and Spotify and Podcast Place. Simple Green, thank you for the lurk. Okay, I'm going to ask a question that's probably so dumb to ask for most of the people here who know about PC. Okay, it's fine. Go ahead, ask. Please don't write my name on the board. I remember when that was a thing, where it's like, oh no, my name is up there. Like, let's see here. 1 second, everybody. Something I've been wanting to do. Let me see. Okay. So there's a new MX out? Yes, the MX4. There's a couple reviews out there you might want to check out. I think Hardware Canucks did one, and they do great reviews. So I've made videos on this Alexander Hero. What is the difference between making a video on that thing and making a video on the really nice stuff? What is the difference? There isn't one. The difference is, who is it relevant to, I guess? And you'll find that with something like the Hero, which was a budget PC, which they don't offer anymore, unfortunately, there's a wider audience for more budget-oriented stuff, especially right now. Luxury products like a $2,000 or more PC are not as many people are buying those. But the thing is, you don't have to make it like that, where it's focused on the fact that it's budget. If you do things like talking about the buying and ownership experience, the customer service, tech support, the packaging, how good that was, that kind of stuff. So it really comes down to two things. There are the facts of the budget and the hardware. So that's going to determine who the audience is in a way, but also the wider appeal of just talking about the company in general, how good your experience was. And also, Kaiser, feel free to use the fact that in our Discord, there is an entire channel dedicated to Alexander PC's customers reporting what their experiences are like. You can refer to the SI Testimonials group of channels as a way of looking at what other people's experiences are like with various SIs, but most importantly, with the one that you're sort of reviewing right there. Because when you're buying a PC, you're not just buying a PC. Anybody, any company can build a PC. When you're purchasing a pre-built, you're also purchasing that company. You're buying into that company. You're committing to getting tech support from that company for however many years the warranty is for, and for however many years they offer tech support for, which with Alexander PCs, all that stuff is lifetime, but not with every SI. But you are committing to that. So that's when it becomes really important to understand who you're buying from and why it's actually such a deep topic. It's not just about, well, how much PC do you get for your money? Well, I mean, if you want that, build it yourself, because generally unless it's a shortage or something where pre-builts are kind of the way to go, generally speaking, the best price to performance can usually be found by building DIY. But that's not an available option for everybody. So value when it comes to service, communication, tech support, all that is difficult to quantify. It's hard to put a number on that, right? It's such a vague concept. But that's why it is so important and helpful that so many people in the community have taken the time to share their experience, because it makes that nebulous concept a reality. It makes it solid. You can go and read how it was, because here's the thing, many computers will have an issue here or there. It's a computer. It's an amalgamation of very complex components that you are running electricity through. And And also, you're running Windows on those systems. And Windows, if you're new to this, heads up, Windows can be a bit of a problem sometimes. So you need to have solid tech support. You need to have the availability of reaching somebody on the end of that line when you're calling that is willing to help you out and is capable of helping you out and is happy doing so, right? Or at least professional about it. So I would encourage anyone who's bought a pre-built who has not done an SI testimonial, please do so. It is one of the most, like if you're thinking, I'm going to gift 5 subs, I would rather you do an SI testimonial. It is arguably more helpful, not just to the community, but to me directly. I pay attention to those. Whenever I'm going to be going and talking about an SI, I will go to that SI testimonials channel and see the experiences people have had ever since that channel was made. It informs my recommendations in a very important way. Will said, watching my PC being built live gave me butterflies. I can't wait to start to use it. So the build already happened. Okay, that's awesome. Like that $2,500 Skytech. Yeah. Right? That's a different audience demographic, right? No, demographic is not the right word. But it's a different sort of target audience, I should say. That is looking for a higher budget PC. You're gonna get, by all logic, that should get fewer views whenever there's an economic downturn. People are less confident in the economy, less willing to spend money. So they might want a gaming PC, but even though they are potentially capable of spending more on one, they will spend less because of caution, because of economic uncertainty, things like that. I apologize, I didn't state my question well. I was totally capable of making a video on that PC. Cool. Why is the $2,500 Skytech going to be better for making videos and editing and such? Okay. You're talking about editing video, not making a video on it, like making a video on a topic. So all that stuff I just said didn't help. Cool. Okay. I will agree that wording made me think you're talking about making videos about it. Okay. Well, it's going to be things like more CPU cores, a more powerful GPU for running, in your editing software, doing GPU accelerated effects. Encoding is going to be faster if you have more CPU cores, or it's just a newer generation that is more efficient and performant. And it's just, it's more computer. Why, yeah, I was supposed to get a live build with my hero, but it was around Christmas and they had too many builds going on, unfortunately. Kaiser, yeah, that around Christmas, all bets are off for a small company, 100%. Just remember cyberpower support. What are you calling for? Alucard, yes. Never forget. Well, then what are you calling for? To get service. You get help. That was ridiculous. That was crazy. I felt like I was like vindicated there. I was like, oh my God, how do you ask a customer, like, why are you talking to me? Jeez, dude. All Knowledge gave me is great, and I listened. Awesome. Well, yeah. It's like saying this. Hey, I'm going to go to the racetrack. Why is it better to race in a race car instead of my SCCA Miata? Well, that's a great car, and it'll perform really well in specific circumstances. But if you're trying to do the high performance stuff, a higher performance car will perform better. It's the same thing. May says, the only thing I hate about pre-built is the add-on software and bloat that usually comes with them. Okay? No. You're thinking about OEM pre-builts. Dell, HP, Lenovo. Actually, also Asus, not letting you off the hook. There was some bloatware on there. MSI does the same thing. From system integrators, Maze, what I focus on, like, you're not going to get bloatware on an iBuyPower PC. You're not going to get bloatware on a boutique build. If you're talking about an OEM, like Dell, HP, Lenovo, yada, yada, Alienware, stuff like that, they make a ton of money on that. A ton of money. It's one of the reasons they can undercut the competition in terms of price. But you got to be careful, because if you're saying, hey, pre-builts, well, pre-built covers a lot. Now, I'm not here policing the way you say stuff. I'm just saying context does matter. So, and I don't expect everyone to be walking around talking like OEM versus system integrator. Yeah, it's uncommon, right? But you can say things like, from Dell or HP or Lenovo, because that's the same thing as what OEM means, right? That's also, those, you can also say about those, I hate that they use proprietary hardware. So I can't just swap out the case, or I can't swap the power supply or whatever. That's something that's more typical of OEM build, because original equipment manufacturer, they make or have made for them their own motherboards, power supplies, GPUs, all that stuff. Coolers, it's all proprietary. HP is better about it. Lenovo is supposedly better about it. I haven't gotten my hands on a system myself, but I look at reviews of them, things like that. OEMs don't like talking to me because they know I'm onto them. I understand why they do it and even agree with them. It's how my dad's mini PC was so cheap. Yeah, and mini PCs definitely have a place in the market, but not the place I think a lot of them are marketed towards. Also, you'll see a mini PC openly talking about, oh, play games on this, and they're really not that capable of that, other than the more expensive ones. Interesting. Okay. Kaiser, no problem. 100%. But if you outgrow it, no upgrade. Yeah. Yeah. I do like that there are a couple mini PCs that have the thing where you can like dock a GPU, because then you can upgrade your GPU. There's things like that, but there's, talking about soldered CPUs, some of them will have socketable RAM. I think that's really important. Upgradable storage, we can add like 2, sometimes even 3 M.2 drives. Rarely though, for that amount, but like usually 1 or 2. There is some upgradability, but generally the same amount of upgradability you'll find in a decent laptop. Oh, your dad's mini. Okay, so you're talking about 87 years old, only plays silly board games and surfs the web for news. Then a mini PC is perfect. A Chromebook can handle that. And a mini PC definitely does a job where you can have a more comfortable setup than, like, it's crazy how infrequently I hear people mention the inherent ergonomic benefit of an actual desk setup versus a laptop, where you're forced to crane your neck down like this all the time. You have to have your hand here for the keyboard and use the touchpad like right there. It is so unergonomic. But a mini PC, You have a monitor right in front of you, a keyboard and a mouse spaced apart appropriately, hopefully. It's so much better ergonomically. And at an age of 80, like 87 years old like that, that becomes really critical. You take a look-see right here. Okay, I am going to shout out a few lurkers in the Twitch side of things, just to give credit where credit is due, and thank those who are supporting in a silent fashion. Just a few, not everybody, okay? But Ameridan, buddy, how you doing? I might have something for you pretty soon, by the way. So I'll be reaching out to you. BC Murray, what's up? Demondred81, thank you for the lurk. Green Crab 6, I believe. What's up? Lycos45, thank you for lurking. Mythos Web, thank you for lurking. Wilshire Baggins, thank you for lurking. Smoke, appreciate you. She Loves Bubby, thank you for lurking. Tough, MN, thank you for lurking. U.S. Army Combat Medic, thank you for lurking. That's just a few of y'all. Just showing my appreciation for some of those who are lurking. I appreciate all of y'all, though. Unfortunately, YouTube doesn't really let me see just a list of everybody who's in chat unless you're actively chatting. But anyone lurking there, just know I appreciate you as well. He gets my hand-me-down monitors, which are seriously good. Nice. Raythorn, is it possible to get a pre-built with Windows and Linux dual boot? Generally, Richard, no. But if you're the type that's savvy enough to utilize dual boot, you may just be ready to set it up yourself, you know? I see BC Murray. Thank you for coming in with a little smiley. I appreciate that. Only way to use a laptop is with a docking station with external peripherals. I mean, I have, if I'm sitting on the couch and I have a laptop with a lap desk, it raises it up more to my actual field of view. That helps. But yeah. Michelle, I see you. I see you. Although I wouldn't call you a typical lurker because you do have like stretches of the stream where you are very actively chatting. But even though even though you're not, you're still here. That means a lot to me. Thank you guys for letting me do this as a job. That's the coolest thing ever. Thank you. I want to do a pre-built and a DIY, but it's not time to do the form yet. Richard, thank you for noting that, because doing it too early, like when you're really not ready to make your purchase yet, you know, it's just not super helpful because things change so quickly. Oh, no way. Okay, that's fun. That's fun. Oh, man. What is he doing? Give me 1 second, guys. Sorry. But yeah, generally fill out the form when you're within a month of making your purchase, and it'll be the most helpful that way. Okay. So this is one of those rare times where my buddy Chris, Coalition Chris, is streaming. I know this is still pretty early, but I got some stuff I need to work on. And my buddy Chris is streaming. So one of the rare chances I have to actually raid him. So we're going to do that. If you're watching on YouTube, I want to do this before this this ad hits. If you're watching on YouTube, check the description. There's a link to the Twitch channel if you want to join the swarm here to stream, to raid a friend of mine, friend of the channel, and someone who I'm hopefully going to get to hang out with pretty soon here because I'm going to be in his neck of the woods. So, oh man, BlazeBits is streaming too, and BlazeBits has raided me a bunch. In fact, like 4 times in the last month. No, I'll raid Blaze soon, but right now it's gonna be Chris. Blaze, if you hear this, I will raid you soon, bud. Don't worry. But let's raid Chris right now of Coalition Gaming. And I hope you all will come along for the ride. Underground Aesthetic, thank you for jumping over. Tanmay. Coming in right at the end, huh? There's so many how to build a PC videos on YouTube. I suggest people give it a try. Take your time to do the research. Very rewarding, and you'll always be able to repair it later with your new skill. Maze, I will say, with most people coming in here to get it pre-built, they may end up doing that anyway. I say it's the best gateway to PC DIY for those who want to pursue it, and it genuinely is that. But yeah, I'm gonna tell Chris to turn on a key light. Why is it so dark over there? Anyways, let's drop that raid. I will be back on Tuesday doing more PC matchmaking, perhaps with some fun news for you guys as to some of the things I've got coming up. Really exciting streams and content coming up soon. So it's all coming together, finally coming together. And I'm super excited. Anyways, that's going to do it for this evening. I hope you have a wonderful rest of your Sunday and a wonderful start to the week. And until Tuesday, take care.
Let's go, nerds!